Hello there and welcome back. In this video, let's do a recap of Arena Season 26 in Nier Reincarnation. And I'm still climbing out here, had a lot of fun climbing in the final hour and got rank 3, so I'm stoked on that. And congrats to the rest of the top 5 here. Familiar faces Pete and Ciro up there, and it's cool to see Jammer and Quihei joining the top 5. Jammer doing some awesome work on the subjugation guides, Quihei being another YouTuber. So congrats to all. All right, obviously we need to talk about the introduction of Summer Yuri and how her passive alone changed everything. So that party-wide Indomitable, of course, it protects us from incoming snipers. We don't have to obsess over 4K Agi anymore. And it's given us so much more flexibility and room to experiment with the costumes we're pairing with her, the sub-weapons we're using, and what we're doing to the memoirs. Every part of the loadout is changing. Of course, we still have the old team archetypes, but it's the most effective when she's included, of course. So things are just getting tweaked and changed a bit. We're seeing a lot of EX main hands. We're seeing people just using their favorites or getting creative with 3 stars. You know, there's just so much variety going on. It's really cool, and it's a cool contrast from last season and the previous seasons where the meta had gotten so tight, there just wasn't much room for experimentation like that. So I'm having a lot of fun. There are criticisms out there of Yuri in general, I guess, being kind of like a cheese character or allowing players to punch above their weight class, if you will. And that's a fair criticism. But at the same time, I'm just seeing more engagement out there. I'm seeing more people playing, and if, you know, some top 100 people can get those top 50 rewards now, that's no problem. You know, there aren't that many people really gunning for top 10 these days anyway, so I say let them have it, and especially if everyone's just having fun, that's really cool. The other criticism I've heard out there is that it really slowed the meta down. And, you know, those battles can tend to be really long and drawn out now. And that's also a fair criticism. But at the same time, it's either that or what we had where it was just really stale and there wasn't much variety. So, and you know what? With those, which we'll see in my gameplay later, with those slow battles, it's really cool to see those character skills go off. And with all that variety, you know, it's been really tough to predict what you go up against. And along with that, seeing a lot of, like, you know, doing great on offense, but also having a lot of offense losses. You know, sometimes it's easy to get surprised. And, you know, crazy defense wins too, where I wake up and I've just been fed into the top 10 and, you know. So it's crazy to see. It's all new. So other than Yuri, of course, we had the introduction of Noelle, and she really did step up what a sniper could be. And of course, I talk about that in my review video. And the other snipers are still good, and they're still effective. You know, they're still useful right now. Nier, Shadowbound Priet, Bloodless Demos, still doing good work. And however, I will note that I was only killed by a sniper once this season. So think about that for a second. That's really crazy to see. All right, let's get right into some gameplay. My phone didn't record the final 15. I tried to record it and I didn't have enough space. So unfortunately, I only have the second half of the final battle. But I did handpick some runs that I had recorded previously, and most of these are from the final day and some from the final hour. And this will give us a chance to talk about some builds. So I really liked using this one where I brought Lars as a turret. Of course, team comps can be what you'd expect with Yuri, you know, maybe like a triple instant character skill tank team. So maybe Yuri, Udil, and Christmas Gale, or you know, Celeb Wife or Summer Wife. You know, lots of possibilities now. We have a lot of these instant character skill characters, and we'll see some of that in a moment. But this is also a great comp here where you have just Yuri, Udil, and then whoever you want to use. And I liked using Lars here because that agility, while it may seem useless in these tank versus tank battles, just that little bit of passive agi to the party helps me take priority in between skills. So I liked this team a lot, and I used the same team on defense for most of the season and had a lot of success with it. This was very early season, this particular battle, and I was just testing how well these teams can do on auto without targeting, without touching a skill. And we can see how this one plays out. The other thing I like about Lars is that C gauge, or any character with a C gauge, because in these battles, you are very frequently going to be seeing those character skills go off. Shadowbound Priet as well. All right, the same team against a very scary hybrid. Now these hybrids were definitely the toughest to go up against. So here we have Yuri, but with Nier Sniper and Saryu. And here I have the same team. A lot of teams could have worked.
Run if you can.
This was in the final, I think the final hour against one of the top players. Of course, Yuri makes it even harder to take Udiel down. And I mentioned in my Yuri review that, you know, if you're going up against Yuri, you're going to want Yuri yourself. Now, of course, it is possible to counter her, and I know a few people that don't have her. It still did pretty well. And of course, the power team is the most obvious solution. So, you know, you can come in there with Celeb Wife or any of these, like, especially New Year Marie was really popular. And if you can come in and boost enough damage, you can take these teams out. It just takes a little more, you know, clever playing, a little more skill. It is possible, but it's also subject to fail. You know, if you get snagged on a recovery passive, or, you know, maybe 2 recovery passives, and you waste 2 of your skills out of the 6, you could be in trouble because that tank team is coming back on you with EX skills, and you're totally exposed. All right, so I want to talk about Celeb Wife, because she is a great counter to Yuri, because she can cleanse one of the debuffs. So a lot of people, of course, are pairing Yuri with Udiel, and both of them give you an attack break and a crit down. And the only bummer is that it's random which one is going to get cleansed. And we'll see more of that in a moment. But the key thing you want to do here, go into the battle, queue your first character skills if you want, but wait for Celeb Wife until you see their character skills queued, then do Celeb Wife, so that you see that now. Let's see, I used her, and boom, 8 stacks of attack break are gone. And I have full attack, not debuffed. That's going to help give me the edge here. Oddly enough, I'm going up against the same team I was just using. Actually, this one's Ziggy, so shout out to Ziggy. Also, I saw wind, and I like to bring fire sometimes when I see wind. Celeb Wife is good for that. Make sure you're wielding fire for that effect. All right, so another super scary hybrid here. Another top player. And using the same team, my best solution against this player was the same thing, to cleanse that and to have a little bit of a protection against the wind, incoming wind damage, by using fire, and also be able to take them out easier with fire.
Found you.
So look at that. My Yuri almost got killed. Timo's got a lucky chain.
Appreciate it.
Thank God Celeb Wife has the heal, although you'll see I didn't need it. My Udiel was able to survive everything here, and that can depend on RNG. So this one went really well. All 3 characters still standing and had a skill left over. Now, I just happened to fight that same team as my very last battle of the season, and like I said, I was able to capture just the final half of the final battle. And here it is, same team, and I want to point out where in the last one, I was able to cleanse the attack break. Watch what happens in this one. Same team, same everything. And this time they took my Udeal out. And sorry, I forgot, it already happened, but you see, she had cleansed the crit rate down and not the attack break. And RNG must have happened differently. Perhaps their Demos targeted my Udeal, I can't remember exactly, and that's why he died early. But you can see my damage is going to suffer here. And this same team against the same team is going to... Now the run's tight. Now the run's very tight. And 1v1 to finish out the season. Yuri versus Yuri. And lucky counter lets me get my skills in. However, my Yuri still had her damage protection up. I think I would have won that either way. Cool, so on to the creative builds. And granted, I didn't test out as many as I could have. I think the most effective one is probably FF Lars with a good sniper, such as Priet or the new Noel, or Awakened Nier, or Awakened Bloodless Demos, that combo. Actually what we just saw. And I don't know why, this just seems like the most obvious team, and I didn't even put it together. I will this season, but I love Crow, and I really love the idea of using FF Udeal. So I had tried this team with New Year Yuri instead of Crow. I didn't like the damage she was doing, and Udeal doesn't need that much help with damage. Okay, then my Yuri has the spear for the provoke, and that's very much on purpose. And here I am against... Yeah, this is another one of... Yeah, there's another one of these scary teams. You see, it's Sniper, Lars, and Yuri. So kind of like an even match here, although I don't really have priority in AA because they have Lars and a Sniper. So I'm a little exposed here, but I have more damage potential. Let's take a look at this run. So thanks to Yuri's protection, I can bring, slow DPS and most likely not die, just like what happened, although I did lose all of Crow's Bolt Vigor, and that is a crying shame. And check out the Udeal damage. Actually, not that great because he's so debuffed, but...
You got this.
And yes, here it comes. Is there anything sweeter than a Crow character skill going off in Arena? Alright then, one final battle to look at for this video, and we'll see why at the end. It's the same team versus a full tank team. Let's see how it goes.
Run if you can.
How unpleasant.
Here I do get to take advantage of my Bolt Vigor. I use Yuri's skills, which are going to come out a little weaker, to take off that reduction first. And I got snagged on the recovery, wasted a skill. Bummer. So they have 4 skills coming at me, EX skills. But my Yuri has that provoke, so she took a ton. She ate every one of their skills. Amazing. Now watch carefully. Watch carefully. This is my first time ever doing this. Boom! Caps. Yes, I know it's been done, but that's my first time capping in Arena. So very nice. And then the final look here as the clock rolled over. So I'm very anxious to try out all these different combos. There's so many possibilities. It's so cool to see all the increased engagement, so many more people playing, all of the variety of builds, all the creativity out there. I love to see it. Those are my thoughts for this video. Thanks for watching as always. If If you like what you see here, throw a like and a sub on it. It's much appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one.